Welcome back, everybody. You're with us here on Cape Rugby TV. It's great to have you with us as we keep talking about Western Province Club Rugby. Right here on Cape Town TV, DSTV channel 263. 13 years in the making now. We've been at it for a while, Jerome.
Yeah, it's been still going strong.
Yeah, and still talking about community rugby.
Yeah, and I mean, it takes a lot for me to be with you every week, but I've managed to keep going.
Yeah, it takes a lot for me to have you with me every week, but I managed to keep going. It's one of those drawbacks, I suppose, for both of us.
It is, yeah, but we have to keep the show going.
Tell me about your before we carry on talking about the games at City Park. Let's have a little bit of a. In fact, folks, we are going to talk about the Rugby World Cup after the break. We're going to be having a bit of a chat with Jerome about that. This coming weekend at City Park, it is, of course, the semi-finals, where the top 6 teams are getting ready for action. In Super League B, folks, we've, of course, got SK Warmers up against Hands and Hearts. Franche Hoek are playing against CPUT. Now, last week, SK Warmers were up against Primrose. We thought we would just quickly take a look at some of these highlights, and we'll talk about SK Warmers in a sec. Right, Jerome. SK Warmers against Primrose. It's a little bit hard. Would you say, is it fair to say that that the weather there on the day was wet, it was slow, it was a little bit more tricky to play? We're not sure about where the weather's going to look like on Saturday at City Park, but what would you say from looking at that is SK is going to have to concentrate on, even though it's a hard game to look at because of the weather conditions? What do you think they're going to be thinking about for Saturday when they come up against Hands and Hearts?
Look, they know Hands and Hearts are spreading the ball wide. They're playing. So obviously Hands and Hearts are going to try and keep the ball away from SK's big pack of forwards. And on the other hand, if SK have the ball, they're going to try to control it with their big pack of forwards. You're talking about the weather now. That weather actually suits SK Warmers with that big pack of forwards. So they were just keeping the ball with the forwards, hitting it up with 12, playing back to the forwards again. So that weather actually suits them.
Well, it's interesting that you say that, because I'm just looking, while we speak, I'm just looking at the weather predictions. And Friday has got a tremendous amount of rain scheduled. So we know that Friday is going to be pouring on Friday, and then it's going to be a little bit dry but still raining on Saturday. So we're looking at a very, very wet, potentially a very wet game for all teams.
Yeah, so that is going to be one good thing about all the fields at City Park. It rains quite well, so
right.
Water doesn't stand there. So that's perfect also. But look, the rain, the wind, it equals the game for both teams out. So it's just how you prepare for that, and like SK coming off a game like that, knowing how to play.
But now that the concern that jumps to me now is that by the time the second team get onto the field, and then if you think about the time under those wet conditions, by the time the first team gets onto the field, there would have already been 2 games played. Do you think City Park, I mean, we're not greenskeepers, but do you think City Park's going to be able to keep up the grass? 3 games in a row with that much rain and water on the park?
Yeah, look. One good thing about City Park, it's not like your normal club fields where there's rugby every Saturday playing there. So sometimes there's rugby, sometimes there's not rugby. So I think the field will be good. It can be challenging. It depends on the amount of rain. If it's a lot of rain, it's going to be challenging with the field, especially if you play the last game.
So we're definitely looking at, according to weather, but folks, who knows, when it comes to weather forecasts, you never really know. But at the moment, it does look like it's going to be a wet day. A lot of rain scheduled for Friday, and then, of course, certainly a lot of rain, certainly a lot of rain on Friday and a wet day on Saturday. But nevertheless, the fans are going to be out there at what is expected to be one of the big clashes or big days of Western Province Club Rugby, where it is the top 6 challenge for Super League A, B, and C at City Park. Folks, you can see Decro Paints behind me, and our Decro Paints is on board with Cape Rugby TV. We love Decro Paints, such a high quality brand, and we know that Decro has got a product for you across the board. And in fact, if you go down to their store at N1 City at Game, Decro, of course, has a fantastic color matching show. I love walking in there. When you walk in, there's a place for you to sit. There's some fantastic, comfortable chairs. And, of course, they've got their color charts out there, and you can match your paint specs as you need. I also love the fact that Decro specializes in various industries. Like, for example, did you know that Decro specializes in making coatings and paint for the wine industry? Now, of course, the wine industry is very concerned about things like the tainting of the cork and the taste of the flavor, etc. So you need specific paints in the wine industry. And this is where Decro specializes, because they've always got a product that is ready for any winery, any winemaker, whether it be refrigeration or the wood or the cellars. And those products then, of course, make sure that, because the ingredients inside the paint is what protects the coatings and gives it specific for them. Anyway, from that you can see that their research and development is in fact next level at Decro. You can visit them at Decro, www.decro.co.za, to find out a little bit more. We'll take a break. When we come back, we carry on talking club rugby. Back in a sec.